Hello everyone, my name is Tyler G. Panes and we are the Group 1 and we are reporting about the sensory functioning. Introduction. When sensory functioning is altered, a person's ability to relate and function within the environment changes drastically. In addition, the healthcare environment is a place of unfamiliar sights, sounds, and smells and minimal contact with family and friends. If patients feel depersonalized and are unable to receive meaningful stimuli, serious sensory alterations sometimes develop. As nurses, you meet the needs of patients with existing sensory alteration and recognize those most risk for developing sensory problems. Aging results in a gradual decline acuity in all senses. Patients who are older, immobilized, or confined in isolated environments are at risk for sensory alteration. You have also helped patients who have partial or complete loss of major sense to find alternate way to function safely within their environment. Sensory functioning refers to the ability of an individual to perceive, interpret, and respond to stimuli from the environment through their senses. It involves the complex process of receiving sensory information, processing it in the brain, and then translating that information into action and experiences. This includes both the general senses, touch, pressure, temperature, and pain, and proprioception, and the special senses, vision, hearing, taste, and smell. Scientific knowledge base. The first is normal sensation. The nervous system continually receives thousands of bits of information from sensory nerve organs, relays the information through appropriate neurological channels, and integrates information into a meaningful response. So, the normal sensation is the body's ability to detect and interpret stimuli like touch, temperature, pain, and body position through sensory receptor and nerves. It allows the brain to process information from the environment and coordinate appropriate responses. The normal hearing and vision is the ears and the eyes. The function of ears transmit to brain a pattern of all sounds received from the environment, the relative intensity of these sounds, and the direction from which these originate. The function of eyes is transmits a pattern of light to the brain that is reflected from solid object in the environment and become transformed into colors in you.
Hello, I am Joy Sawan of Quezon Rogers, and I'm going to report the sensory alternation, which refers to changes in a person's sensory reception and perception, impacting their ability to interact with the environment. So, ang sensory alternation, meron siyang most common types of sensory alternation are sensory deficit, sensory deprivation, and sensory overload. So, ang sensory deficit is a deficit in the normal function of sensory reception and perception is a sensory deficit. So when a person loses a visual or hearing acuity, he or she withdraw by avoiding communication or socialize with others. So when a person is a lost visual or nawalan siya ng or in other words, pag bulag yung isang tao at wala na siyang pandinig, parang nahihirapan siya, hindi lang siya parang kasi nahihirapan siya to communicate with others kasi minsan, di ba ang mga tao na hindi na makarinig minsan is hindi nila maintindihan kung ano yung sinasabi ng kapwa-tao nila. So, it's hard for them to communicate to the others. So, a patient with sensory deficit often changes behavior in adaptive or maladaptive ways. For example, a patient with a hearing impairment turns the unaffected ear toward the speakers to hear better, whereas another patient avoids people because he or she is embarrassed about not being able to understand what other people say. So, kaya lang din ng sinabi ko kanina. Sensory deprivation naman is the reticular activating system in the brainstem mediates all sensory stimuli to the cerebral cortex. Thus, patients are able to receive stimuli even while sleeping deeply. Sensory stimulation must be of a sufficient quality and quantity to maintain personal awareness. So, meron siyang tatlong types of sensory deprivation. First are reduced sensory input. So, sensory deficit from visual or hearing loss. So, the next is the elimination of patterns or meaning from input. So, example nito is exposed to strange environment. Then, ang third is restrictive environment. So, example nito is bed rest. So, then, there are many effects of sensory deprivation. In adult, the symptoms are similar to those of psychological illness, confusion, symptoms of severe electrolyte imbalance, or the influence of psychotropic drugs. Therefore, always be aware of a patient exists a sensory function and the quality of stimuli within the environment. So, ang third na common types of sensory alternation is sensory overload. When a person relieves multiple sensory stimuli and cannot perceptually disregards or selectively ignore some stimuli, sensory overload occurs. Excessive sensory stimuli prevent the brain from responding appropriately to or ignoring certain stimuli because of the multitude of stimuli leading to overload. A person no longer perceive the environment in a way that makes sense. Ang overload prevent meaningful response by the brain. So, overload prevents meaningful is nag-respond daw siya sa brain. The patient thoughts raise attention scattered in many direction and anxiety and restlessness occur as a result. Overload cause states similar to that produced by sensory deprivation. However, in contrast is deprivation overload is individualized. The amount of stimuli necessary for health function varies with each individual. People are often subject to environment overload more at one time than another. So, ang sensory overload is this occurs when a person is overwhelmed by multiple sensory stimuli that they cannot ignore. It can lead to state similar to anxiety with racing thoughts and scattered attention. So, there is a common sensory deficit. First is visual deficit. First is presbyopia, a gradual decline in the ability to focus on a close object, making it difficult to see near object clearly. So, presbyopia is makikita mo yung object ng malinaw kapag malapit. So, the cataract, cloudy or opaque areas in the lens that interfere with light passage causing glare and blurred vision. It develops gradually without pain, redness, or tearing. So, ang cataract is yung parang meron mga cloud or whitish sa mata. So, dry eyes, insufficient tears production leads to itching, burning, and reduced vision. So, next with is glaucoma, progressive increase in intraocular pressure damages the optic nerve, resulting in peripheral vision loss, decrease of visual acuity, difficulty adaptation to darkness, and halos around lights. So next is diabetic retinopathy. So pathologic changes in retinal blood vessels cause decreased vision or vision loss due to hemorrhage and macular edema. So next would be the macular degeneration. So the macular losses its function leading to blurred reading, distorted central vision, and distorted vertical lines. So next is a hearing deficit. So hearing deficit, meron siyang presbycusis, a common progress hearing disorder in older adults. So next would be cerumen accumulation. Earwax build up in the external auditory canal hardens, causing conduction deafness. So next is balance deficits. Dizziness and disequilibrium, common in older adults, often due to vestibular dysfunction, and can be triggered by change in head position leading to vertigo or disequilibrium. Next is the taste deficit. So xerostomia, reduced saliva producing leading to thick mucus, dry mouth, and potential eating and nutritional difficulties. So next is neurological deficit. Peripheral neuropathy, disorder of the peripheral nervous system causing numbness, tingling, and gait issues. So next is stroke, cerebrovascular event disruption, brain blood flow leading to alternate proprioception and coordination imbalance, loss of sensation, and motor function. So next have the effect of sensory deprivation. So first, cognitive, it reduces capacity to learn, inability to think or problem solve, poor task performance, disorientation and confusion, bizarre thinking, increased need for socialization, and altered mechanism of attention. And next is affective. Boredom, restlessness, increased anxiety, emotional liability, panic, increased need for physical stimulation. And next would be perceptual. Changes in visual motor coordination, reduced color perception, less tactical accuracy, change in ability to perceive size and shape, change in spatial and time judgment.
So our next topic is all about the factors influencing sensory function. So the capacity to receive or perceive sensory stimuli can be influenced by many factors. Age. Infants are vulnerable to sensory impairments, and adults experience visual and hearing change as the age. Example, presbyopia, needs for glasses, hearing loss starting around 30. Next, number 2 is proprioceptive change. After 60, balance, coordination, and spatial orientation often decline along with tactile sensitivity. Number 3, meaningful stimuli. Familiar and engaging stimuli like pets, music, and pictures reduce sensory deprivation, especially in healthcare settings. Amount of stimuli. Too much sensory input can cause sensory overload, particularly in noisy or busy hospital environment. Social interaction. Supportive family or social contacts improve sensory function, while isolation, like during hospital stays, can worsen it. So example, an 80-year-old patient is a hospital who has no visitors and stay in a noisy ward may experience both sensory overload from constant noisy and sensory deprivations from lack of meaningful interaction, leading to confusion of slower recovery. So the next is the environmental factors. Occupation and activities can increase the risk for sensory impairments. High noisy jobs, example, factory or airport workers risk hearing loss. Jobs with chemical flying object exposure, example, welders risk vision problems. Repetitive hand movements. A symbol like line work can cause carpal tunnel syndrome affecting touch sensation. Loud recreational activities. Shooting, loud music also damage hearing. Hospitalization and sensory risk. Hospitalized patients are at risk for sensory loss due to lack of movement and environmental change which can lead to sensory deprivation.
Vision. Ask patient to read newspaper, magazine, or lettering on menu. Ask patient to identify colors on color chart or crayons. Observe patient performing ADLS. Magtanong sa pasyente na basahin ang dyaryo, magazine o mga titik ng menu. Hilingin sa pasyente na tukuyin ang mga kulay sa color chart o Crayola. Obserbahan ng pasyente habang ginagawa ang mga ADLS activity or daily living. Hearing o ang pandinig. Assess patient hearing acuity using spoken word and tuning fork test. Susukatin ang talas ng pandinig ng pasyente gamit ang pagsasalita at pagsusulit gamit ang tuning fork. Touch. Check patient's ability to discriminate between sharp and dull stimuli. Explain. Susuriin ang kakayahan ng pasyente na makilala ang matulis at mapurol na bagay sa pamamagitan ng paghawak. Smell. Have patient close eyes and identify several non-irritating odors. Papipikit ang mga mata ng pasyente at paamuyin ng ilang hindi nakakairita na amoy. Taste. Ask patient to sample or distinguish different tastes like lemon, sugar, salt. Have patient drink or sip water and wait 1 minute between each taste. Papainumin ang pasyente ng iba't ibang lasa tulad ng lemon, asukal at asin at papakilalanin kung ano ang lasa ng bawat isa. Pagitan ng bawat lasa, papainumin siya ng tubig at maghintay ng 1 minuto.
I'm Sandra A. Daukay. Planning. Goal at outcomes. Ang halimbawa ng goals is gumanda ang pandinig ng pasyente sa loob ng 2 linggo. At ang outcomes is marunong gumamit ng hearing aid, marunong maglinis nito, at nare-report ang improvement. Then, pangalawa is setting priorities. Unahin kung ano ang pinakailangan ng pasyente. For example is pag-iwas sa lalong pagkasira ng mata pagkatapos ng injury. Then, pangatlo is teamwork. Kasama ang pamilya sa pagtulong at pag-adjust ng pasyente. 4 is implementation, ang pag-alaga at pag-iwas. Screening, regular na pag-check ng mata at tenga lalo na sa bata at matanda. And preventive measures, turuan ang mga bata at matanda kung paano umiwas sa injury sa mata, tenga at balat. Assessive devices, siguraduhin maayos at malinis ang salamin, contact lens at hearing aid. Then, promoting meaningful stimulation. Sa mata, gumamit ng tamang ilaw, sunglasses, at maliliwanag na kulay. Sa tenga naman is pataasin ang volume ng telepono, TV, iwasan ang malalakas na ingay. Sa panlasa at pangamoy, maganda ang pagkain at amoy sa paligid para ganahan kumain. Then, paghipo, gumamit ng tamang pressure kapag hinahawakan ng pasyente. Then, safety, kaligtasan ba? Again, para may mga problema sa mata, ayusin ang bahay para walang sagabal, tamang ilaw sa hagdan, alisin ang mga maliit na rug. Para sa may mga problema sa pandinig, gumamit ng mga alarm o telepono na may malakas o mababang tunog. Para sa may mga problema sa pangamoy, gumamit ng smoke detector, bantayan ang pagkain. Para sa problema ng paghipo, ingatan laban sa paso o lamig, bantayan ang mga temperatura ng tubig. Then, kapag may sensory problem ang pasyente, halimbawa, hirap makarinig o makakita, madalas nakakaramdam sila ng lungkot o pagka-isolate. Kasi hirap silang makipag-communicate. Depende sa klase ng sensory loss. Iiba ang paraan ng pagkikipag-usap natin sa kanila. Kung may problema sa pandinig, vision problem, magsalita ka ng normal. Huwag sumigaw, malayo ang distansya. Siguraduhin malinaw ang paligid para mas madali silang maka-adapt.
I am Noreen A. Lindungan, from BSN1 Rogers. So this is the continuous topic about planning. So adaptations and communication for sensory deficits. So adaptation for reduced hearing is gumamit ng amplifier para sa doorbell, alarm clocks, and cellphone. Gamitin ang mga ilaw na umiilaw kapag may tunog, kagaya ng doorbell, smoke alarm, or etc. Gumamit din ng amplified phone, receiver, o telephone communication devices. Turuan ang pamilya na magpatagal ng ring sa telepon para mabigay ng oras makasagot. Adaptation for reduced smell or olfaction. Gumamit ng smoke detectors, suriin ang pagkain, tingnan ang expiration date at isura. Itago ang leftover sa malinaw na lalagyan na may level na petsa. Suriin visual ang pilot light sa stove o heater. Basahin ang mga upos na sigarilyo bago itapon. So sa adaptation for reduced touch or tactile sensation is mag-ingat sa init at lamig, huwag gumamit ng heating pads. Iset ang water heater sa 48.8 Celsius or 120 Fahrenheit o mas mababa. Gumamit din ng kulay o level sa faucet, kagaya ng hot and cold. So, sa communication methods patient with aphasia. So, dito, magkinig at bigyan ng sapat na oras, huwag sumigaw, hindi problema ang pandinig. Gumamit ng simple at maikling tanong plus facial expression. So, usap tungkol sa familiar at interesting na topic. Magtanong ng yes or no, gamitin ng pictures or communication board. And magsalita ng mabagal at kalmado. Huwag gumamit ng parang pambatang salita. Patience with artificial airway. Gumamit ng pictures, word, card, pad, or at saka pencil. Huwag sumigaw, bigyan ng oras na magsulat. And gamitin ang artificial voice box kung kinakailangan. Basta huwag sumigaw kung kinakailangan. Bumaba ang tono ng boses. Okay? And magsalita ng best ear ng pasyente. Gamitin din ang pagsulat kung kinakailangan. Huwag harangan ang kamay ng pasyenteng gumagamit ng sign language. Huwag magsalita habang may laman ng bibig o habang nakatalikod. So, sa evaluation naman is, i-check kung bumuti ang pandaman ng pasyente, yung hearing, smell, and touch. And the last one is, tingnan kung kaya na niyang gumalaw or makipag-communicate ng ligtas at maayos. Thank you.